Going down.
That's because it probably is warm enough. Constant temperature here.
Okay, is everybody inside? Alright, there we go. Welcome to the entry room. It's super creatively named, huh? We're gonna hang out in here for a few minutes to let our eyes adjust to the new light level, and I'm going to tell you about the very first humans to discover this cave. Those were the Hohokam Native Americans. They stayed in here from around 900 to 1450 AD, and we know that they were here because they left a lot of artifacts around this room, most of which were later stolen, as well as a big smoke stain on the ceiling from all of their fires. The Hohokam used this cave for ceremonies, storage, and as a stop on their migrations, but they didn't actually explore very much. In fact, they almost never went past where I'm standing right now. And that's for two reasons. One, caves were very sacred to them. They believed that humans, along with all other living creatures, came out of the earth like crystals, so caves, known for their crystals, were seen kind of as a portal to the underworld. Not a great place to be running around and getting some karma. The second reason was a bit more practical. That is the fact that past this point, there is no natural light inside of the cave. It would have been completely dark in here. Fortunately, we don't have to worry about that today, as we have all these lovely electric lights throughout the tour. We'll be able to see perfectly fine. Now, speaking of the dark, we do have some animals in here who love the dark. Our bats. I want you to raise your hand if you're a little bit nervous about the bats in here. Alright, I want everybody to give me a thumbs up real quick. That's how big they are. Our bats are super tiny. They can't hurt you. They're basically flying chicken nuggets. Now, most of our bats have actually migrated to Mexico for the winter because it's nice and warm there, but we still do have a few hanging out in the cave today, so if you see one flying around a room later, don't panic. They're really good navigators, so unless you scream and flail your arms, they're not going to run into you. We've also got some Coatamundis in this cave. Does anybody know what those are? No. They're kind of what you would get if you mixed a badger and a raccoon and stuck a lemur tail in the end. They're very adorable and I love them, but they get all their behavior from the raccoon side of the family, which means that they get into a lot of trouble. They get into our trash cans, they steal people's food, they have even broken into our margarita machines multiple times. They really had fun with that. Alright, now we're about to go down that hallway there, and the ceiling is going to be getting a bit lower, so please watch your head. If you're tall, I recommend that you stick to the middle of the pathway.
I hear voices coming
Oh, okay. Alright, can you guys scoot over to the right so I can get past? Thank you. Oh, never mind. False alarm. We're staying here for a minute to let this tour go by. If everybody could scoot over to the left side of your handrail, please.
Awesome, guys. Excuse us.
What's up, Jake?
Stalactites. It was a pretty bad joke. Hi, guys.
I don't know.
Enjoy the cave. It's super cool.
Yeah, there's the trigger.
Oh, would you like some ears to get here? Of course.
Bread and butter.
There's the light.
Just in case you get lost. I mean, I work at night and most live at night, so.
Alright, are you the last one?
No, there's a few more.
Oh, there they are.
Joe doesn't believe in it.
This always happens when we have really big tours.
I don't understand. So I always carry a flashlight and a knife.
I guess you don't need a jacket in here, huh?
Nope. That's why I'm the only person on this tour wearing a t-shirt right now. Oh wait, never mind, you're wearing one. Usually I'm the only person. Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah, we're a different tour.
They weren't keeping after us, huh? Watch out, guys.
Behind us.
Okay.
Can't believe we were just gonna leave you.
Alright, are you two the last one?
Yep.
Okay.
Oh, good.
Somebody else decided to hide.
Alright. Oh, I'm not the tour guide, she's up there. Alright, now we can keep going. Excuse me. Please watch out on both sides. We do have a couple of drop-offs over here, which means if you drop something down there, I cannot get it back for you.
You could, I usually like to keep my face.
It's probably a good thing.
smart idea.
Watch your noggin. My noggin's going.
Okay, that was close.
Warned you.
No, I didn't know.
This must be really stuff.
No wonder why children number 5 can't come here.
I don't know. So happy you can smack your face on a rock. Okay, big tour today. Raise your hand if you're the last person in line right now.
Oh, that number 6.
Okay.
How come there's no water in this cave?
This is a dry cave. It dried up about 12,000 years ago.
You see it used to have water.
Uh-huh, that's how all these formations were created. Raise your hand if you're the last person in line once again. Oh. Okay, are you guys in the back able to see this room? Okay, squeeze on in, guys. Pretend like you like each other. Oh, is that you, Adam?
Yeah.
Alright, we'll be out of your way in a few minutes.
Okay, no worries.
Alright, is everybody able to see this room now? Okay, I'm gonna need a couple more people to scoot over that way.
You said it dried up how long ago?
About 12,000 years. We have gotten water in here since then on occasion, but it's very, very rare. Alright, now are you able to see this room? Okay, perfect. This is the crystal forest. We call it that because of all these formations up here. It looks kind of like an upside down pine tree forest. Anybody know what these are called?
Stalactites.
Stalactites, exactly. They're formed when water drips down through the mountain and deposits minerals on the ceiling. They grow kind of the same way that icicles do, except of course way slower. When the water drips down off of these stalactites and lands on the ground, we get stalagmites. If you have trouble remembering the difference, stalactites hang tightly to the ceiling, while stalagmites are on the ground, so if you aren't careful, you might trip over one. When a stalactite and a stalagmite, stalag meet in the middle, we get a column. Very fancy name compared to the other two. We've also got some flowstone and dripstone in here. The flowstone is the ripply stuff on top, and the dripstone is the white drippy stuff underneath. Together, it looks kind of like melty ice cream. Yum! All of this stuff is made of calcite crystal. You may be thinking it doesn't really look like crystal. Everything in here is all tan and dusty. That is because of our bats. They fly around outside at night gathering up dust and pollen from the outside world, and then they come back in here spreading that dust, pollen, and a whole bunch of something else all over our cave. Our bats did not get the memo that there is no bathroom in here. Pretty much every surface of this cave is covered in millions of years worth of bat guano. Not something you want to be touching with your bare hands. Don't worry, we do sanitize the handrails about twice a week. I'm going to be honest though, those are kind of gross too. I recommend you get some hand sanitizer when you leave the cave. Now this is what the calcite crystal looks like underneath. We call this guy here Old Baldy. He's got a pretty sweet forehead going on. Now Old Baldy looks pretty cool, but he's actually irreversibly damaged. People have been rubbing their hands all over his head for over 100 years, stripping away that protective coating of dust, pollen, and bat poo, and replacing it with yucky human hand oils. Caves need water to grow. Oil and water do not mix. So if water ever does return to this cave and drips down off of that stalactite up there, lands on Old Baldy's head, it is just going to roll right off. He is never going to grow again. This is due to cave vandalism and a guy named Solomon Lick. Keep that name in mind, we're going to be talking a lot of trash about him today. Now, we're about to go down the staircase there, but first, if you want to touch Old Baldy, this is the only formation in the cave you're allowed to. I'm going to warn you, though, his name is not Mr. Clean. This guy has germs from the bats dating back millions of years, people for over 100 years, and just last year, a grown woman decided that it would be a wonderful idea to put her entire mouth on him. That's when we washed him. So, if you want to touch him, I'm not going to stop you. If you don't, I don't blame you. Just please, no licking. Alright. Yeah, scoop up his friend. Please be careful going down this staircase. Here we go. There we go.
You can't not touch the rock.
Don't touch the rock.
Ew. Touch the rock.
It's a rock. Touch the rock.
Alright, I'm gonna have to squeeze a lot of people on this little platform here.
But then you tell me that it's actually a federal offense to deface the cave purposely.
You alright?
All the way down.
As a tour guide, you develop the magic ability to hear whenever anybody anywhere on the tour trips. Alright, I think we can squeeze a few more people onto this platform. Sorry, usually I don't make you guys do that, but we gotta make some room for the ladder tour to get past.
We can squeeze through. I think we'll make it. That way you don't have to squeeze any more in. Have a good tour, folks.
Alright, see you later, Adam.
Ladder tour with helmets. Uh-huh. That must be a more
Okay,
serious
so-
tour.
Trip on myself, huh?
As long as we keep our timing good, we shouldn't have any more traffic jams today. Once more, raise your hand if you're the last person in line. Okay, you can see this already. So, there's two reasons we're stopping over here. One, we got a pretty awesome view back there. Don't worry if you can't see it up there, you're going to pass by it in just a minute. But the real reason we're stopping is so that I can warn you about a very big cave friend of mine. This guy's name is Fang. He is the largest stalactite in our cave. He weighs 5,000 pounds. That is about equal to a Ford F-150 or a 4-year-old elephant dangling above my head right now. Despite Fang's huge size, people constantly miss him, which is how he gets his name. If you happen to be over 5'7" and not paying enough attention, Fang here might take a bite right out of your forehead and leave you with a souvenir you did not particularly want. If you do end up hitting your head on Fang as you walk by, you may be tempted to hide it. I did just warn you that would be pretty embarrassing. But we're all gonna know. That's because Fang is a cave bell.
Nice.
So if I hear that, I know he got one of you. Has anybody seen those videos where people take the fancy crystal bowls and rub the rims to make cool noises? It's the same principle. Crystals reverberate, sounds really well, and since Fang here is a really big chunk of pure calcite crystal, he makes some pretty awesome noises when you hit him. Depending on the size, shape, and location in the cave, we get different sounds from different stalactites. I'll be showing you all the cave bells that I know of. If you're curious about whether or not a stalactite is going to make a sound, please ask me. I'll test it out for you using this antimicrobial rubber spatula. Please do not go around punching rocks in our cave. It's bad for the cave. It is worse for your hands. Now, we're about to go down this little hallway here, and it is going to be getting a bit tight, so please watch your head and shoulders. Don't hit your head, and if you do, don't sue me. We should start a band. Make some rock music.
She's a dancer.
this here is the drapery room named for this big formation right above my head here. This looks kind of like some curtains or draperies. It's more of that dripstone you saw earlier in the crystal forest. The singular of it is called cave bacon. It does look like bacon and it's technically edible, although I wouldn't recommend you try taking a bite out of it. Alright, real quick, some of you guys that are stuck behind those columns over there, the floor is not lava here, guys. We got plenty of room. Alright, I'm going to tell you a little bit about Mr. Solomon Lick, the guy who discovered our cave. He was looking for some lost cattle in the area in 1878 when he found a 2.5-foot stinky mystery hole in the ground. So he jumped right in, as we all would. That was when he discovered this awesome cave. And being a businessman, he took one look around this place and decided to use it as a gimmick for his hotel nearby. He'd basically tell everybody, hey, I've got this awesome hotel you should visit. If you stay tonight, I'll take you to this really cool cave that I don't own. And you can do whatever you want inside. Whatever you want apparently included stealing most of the Hohokam artifacts from the entry room, as well as parts of the cave itself. While you were in the crystal forest, did you notice that most of our stalactites were flat on the ends? Well, you'll see that all over our cave. That's not natural. They don't just randomly fall off. Solomon would encourage his tour guests to climb up these rocks and snap them off, lasso them off, saw them off. They would even bring rifles in to shoot them off. Not a great idea inside of a cave. I guess it worked though because they kept doing it. All of these broken stalactite ends are put to great uses such as decorations, door stops, chalk, and my personal favorite, they would be eaten. Calcite crystal is made of calcium carbonate. That is the same ingredient you can find in Tums. You would eat some bat poop flavored Tums to cure your heartburn. So there's 1800s medicine for you. Someone would also tell his tour guests to rub their hands all over Old Baldy's head for good luck so that they wouldn't hit their own head later on in the tour, starting this grand tradition that has lasted to today. Alright. Now, that's enough negativity for the moment. I'm going to tell you about the guy who saved the cave, Frank Schmidt. He came in here in 1918 and he did not like the destruction he was seeing, so he saved up a whole bunch of money, and in 1922 he bought this cave so that Solomon could never get inside again. Now the only way to get into the cave was to take one of Frank's tours. You would pay him 25 cents, he would give you a rope and candle, and you would climb around in here for hours at a time while he made sure you didn't try taking home any illegal souvenirs. Keep in mind that's before all these lovely floors, railings, and lights were put in, so you would have been crawling over boulders like what's behind you two over there in the pitch dark. Frank also did not have a phone system in here, so if you decided that you were kind of tired and wanted to go home early, he would just sort of look at you and say, okay, I'm going to keep exploring. You've got two choices. You can come with me, or just go back the way you came. Hope you didn't get lost. Bye! Wow. Safety standards were not quite the same. Despite this, his tours were doing really well. People loved this cave. But in 1929, the Great Depression hit, and suddenly nobody could afford it anymore. Frank really needed a solution, and that solution came in the form of the CCC, the Civilian Conservation Corps. This was a bunch of young men aged 18 to 24 getting jobs around America. They built infrastructure like highways, fixed up national and state parks, among many other things. Has anybody here been to Mount Lemmon before? Yes. They built the road up there. Frank wanted them to come in here and make this cave more accessible to the public, but there was just one little problem with this. Frank owned the cave privately, and they only did national and state parks. So he ended up having to give this entire cave to the state of Arizona for free, under 3 conditions. 1, that the CCC would come in immediately to put in all these floors and railings. 2, that while they were at it, they would also build him a nice house up at the surface. Up until then, Frank and his family had been living in a tent for 10 years. It was not fun. The final condition was that Frank and his family would remain the curators and tour guides of this cave for as long as they were able to. Frank ended up giving tours until he was 84 years old. He passed away just a year later in 1957. That's why we love him so much. He dedicated his entire life to this cave. Now, for those of you here who believe in the supernatural, there have been reports of Frank being sighted in here since then. Don't worry, he's a very friendly ghost. He just likes showing up sometimes, making sure we haven't forgotten about him. I've never seen him, but first time for everything. Alright, back to the CCC. They were in here from 1934 to 1938, and they used to get lost a lot. They would draw arrows on the walls to figure out where they were going and where they'd been, but sometimes these guys had nothing better to do than to draw prank arrows facing the wrong way to get each other lost. So if you wander around this cave for long enough, sooner or later you're going to end up right here in this room. That is because there are 6 entrances. The one we just came in through, There's a little tunnel way back there. There's one back behind you guys over there. Trying not to blind anybody here, sorry. There's one right over there. One by that little railing there. And finally, this spooky dark one over here. Only 2 of these lead to the outside world. They already know about that one. Can't use that now. That's cheating. Anybody want to guess which one the other is?
This one over here.
Well, I don't know. You gotta ask for directions. Can everybody come over here real quick so you can see this wall? If you want to find your way out of this cave, you have to ask the cave witch which way to go. Over here is her scraggly hair, her eye, her wart, her long witchy nose, and she only has one snaggly tooth in her mouth, which tends to happen if all you eat is limestone cookies. Now, our cave witch, she looks kind of mean and scary, but she's actually a very nice witch, because if you ask her for directions, that long witchy nose is going to point you that way, out of the cave. Most of you guessed that, so great job. Now, our cave witch, she gets kind of lonely here sometimes. She's been here for millions of years after all. So one day, she decided to use that witchy magic and conjure herself a couple of friends. What does every good witch need?
Cat.
A cat. So here we have the cutest formation in the entire cave, Shadow the Cat.
Nice.
We've also got his friends over here, SpongeBob, Patrick, and Plankton. Now, most of our formations are very friendly. They want to help you out, but you can't trust all of them. Like Mr. Magoo here. He wants to point you out of the cave, but he can't see very well without his glasses. So, if you try to follow his little eye, his nose, his mouth, and his cup of coffee, he's going to end up pointing you deeper into the cave, which is exactly where we are about to go. Now, down that hallway, there's going to be a couple of super cool dolomite crystals on the wall. I'll be passing back this UV light so that everybody gets a chance to see them. Please do not shine this light in each other's faces. I get blinded at least 3 times a day with it. It's not fun. Alright, now please be extra careful going down these stairs. They are very uneven. The handrail's here for a reason. Alright, here we go. Alright, here they are. Pretty neat and shiny in the normal light. But with the UV light, this changes completely.
Ooh, cool.
They even hold on to this glow for a second afterwards. I'll pass this back so everybody gets to try it out. There you go. Last year, somebody pried a big chunk of those crystals out and took it home with them. We don't know who did it or how they managed it without getting caught, but the joke's on them because it's radioactive. Don't worry, it won't hurt you unless you eat it. Please do not eat our cave crystals. I know they look delicious.
Yum.
Now over here is our cave weather station. The dial on top shows the atmospheric pressure, bottom left is the temperature, and bottom right is the humidity. The pressure and the humidity change depending on the weather outside, while the temperature stays 71 degrees all year long. The humidity right now is about 60 to 65%, that's what it is usually, but sometimes it can get up to 100% in here, which kind of sucks. Fortunately, that has not happened in several years.
Ooh, cool.
Oh, you alright?
Yeah,
Ah.
I just got excited over here.
Yeah, I gotta watch your step in here.
Coming up the hill.
Okay, we're gonna stop over here, wait for everyone to catch up. Those of you in front get subjected to my terrible dad jokes.
Ah, perfect.
What's a vampire's favorite fruit?
Tomatoes.
Well, good guess. The answer I'm looking for is a nectarine.
Oh.
Usually people say blood oranges. Don't worry, there aren't any vampire bats in here. There haven't been since 3 million years ago. We found some of them fossilized in their own guano. What a way to go. Okay. Anybody got any questions, better jokes for me to tell, anything like that? Okay. All right, is everybody caught up yet?
No.
Okay, thanks for being honest. Sometimes people are like, yeah, we're all here when there's still 10 people on the way. I don't know, I guess they really want to get on with the tour. It's gonna be a minute.
Okay.
Okay, here we are. Whoever has my UV light, can you pass that to the front, please? Thank you very much. All right, I'm going to tell you a little bit about how this cave was formed. Colossal Cave is a karst cave, which basically means it was created by water a very long time ago. Thank you. Back when the Rincon Mountains were forming, a fault line opened up in the earth, and a bunch of water started seeping through. This water picked up some carbonic acid, which is the same stuff that makes soda fizzy, as well as sulfuric acid from the Rincon volcano. This acidic water then found a huge slab of limestone. Most limestone is very soft and easily dissolvable, so the water just ate right through it. Some of it, though, was this escabrosa limestone you can see all around you. It is much denser, so the water left it behind, forming what we call solution tunnels. We also call them Swiss cheese. Geologists are hungry people. They like naming formations after food. And there's your geology crash course for the day. Now, in just a second, on your right, you're going to see our most famous piece of Swiss cheese, the bottomless pit. It is not actually bottomless. It only goes down about 60 feet. But if you drop something in there, it is not coming back out. That includes your phone, as well as your dignity. Here it is. Dun, dun, dun. I don't have to worry about losing my dignity down there. I have never had any. Now, in just a moment, we're going to go through the Hall of Time. On your left, you're going to see a couple of display cases with some of the artifacts that were not stolen. The first one is a manu and metate used to grind seeds, grains, and berries for food. The second is a mortar missing the pestle used to grind pigments for pottery. We're pretty sure Solomon didn't take these two because he thought they were normal rocks. He kept a lot of the nicer artifacts in his hotel for himself, and this hotel, unfortunately, later burned to the ground.
Oops.
I say unfortunately, but I deserve it. Over here, we got that manu metate, and there's the mortar.
Oh, cool.
Over here we got a ball. Super exciting, huh? It's white, thumpy, dusty. Kind of boring, to be honest. This stuff is called cave popcorn. It's made of calcite crystal, like the rest of our formations. Something really cool about it is that I can draw on it. I'll pass this back again so everybody gets to try it out. Yep. Now, I don't know the exact science behind it. I suck at chemistry, but the process there is called phosphorescence.
Oh, really cool.
Alright. On the left side of this wall, we've got
Sweet.
cool crystals. Got some shiny mica over here. And then all the red stuff here is called hematite. It's an iron crystal. Super sparkly. And finally over here, we've got a bunch of broken quartz. Makes a little disco effect on the ground. Woohoo, party time.
Nice.
Up there are a bunch of teeny tiny baby stalactites. They're called soda straws because they're hollow in the middle. Okay, now while we wait for everyone to catch up, does anybody want to guess what used to happen way up there in the altar room? Close enough. Marriages!
Duh.
CCC workers used to get married up there all the time. We actually still do host weddings in there on occasion, just not really as often. There's not much room up there, plus white wedding dresses do not stay white in this cave. It is really dusty in here. Last year a guy got married up there dressed in a full bat suit. I don't mean like Batman. His marriage didn't work out. He was always winging it. Alright, I'm gonna stop you and everyone behind you on that side of the bar. You two are good to keep going. I have no idea why there's a bar here. It serves absolutely no purpose. I just have to do a bunch of math to figure out how many people I can fit. It's a dry cave, so it's not even the fun kind of bar. I'm sure you guys can make that joke. You didn't hear me. Alright. I'm gonna have everybody who's still on that side of the wall come on over here. Is anybody stuck behind that wall?
No.
Okay, good.
Just got it over.
Uh-huh.
At least they set the bar low. Ba-dum-bum. Got it.
Alright, who's got my UV light? Oh, still on there. There we go. Okay. This here is the movies and popcorn room. There have been 27 movies filmed inside of this cave. Some of them were documentaries. Most of them, think you were low-budget horror movies back before CGI was really a thing. Unfortunately, none of them were Indiana Jones. Has anybody here seen the movie Night of the Lepus?
No.
It's about giant, genetically mutated, bloodthirsty bunny rabbits. They lived in the cave and would come out at night to terrorize the nearby towns. Keep in mind that was before CGI was really a thing, so they took a bunch of very normal bunny rabbits, covered them with fake blood, and unleashed them on a tiny model of a town with rabbit treats hidden inside. It's terrible. If you have a couple bucks and a couple hours to waste, you can still find it on Amazon. And if anybody in here is a Star Trek nerd, DeForest Kelly, the guy who played Dr. McCoy, is actually in this movie. Alright. One of the better movies filmed in here was actually by Sesame Street, called Sesame Goes West. In this movie, Big Bird and Cookie Monster were searching for the lost bird, seed, and cookie treasure. They came right here to this room, where Big Bird discovered his long-lost ancestor, the Cave T-Rex. Over here is his eye, his mean brow, his long snout, and his snarly mouth. Big Bird saw this cave T-Rex, and he thought it was a real T-Rex, so being a giant chicken, he turned right around and ran straight through that wall. We call that a keyhole formation. It's completely natural. No birds or caves are harmed in the making of this movie. And you did find the treasure on the other side, so it all worked out in the end. Alrighty. Now we're about to go down that hallway there. We're going to see some more display cases. The first one has a bunch of stuff used by bandits who are using our cave as a hideout. The second has the equipment Frank used on his very first tours. And the last one has a bunch of the tools that the CCC used while they were down here. I'll explain each one when we arrive. Onward! Okay, so the first one with all the bandit stuff, we got a trench coat, still has pins on it for ropes, some bandit soup, coffee that can still be found in stores this day, and of course a whiskey bottle. The rest was added in the 70s for aesthetics. According to legend, a group of bandits robbed a low parlor car on the train nearby, stole a bunch of gold, and hid it in here before they got arrested. They were arrested for 18 years before they finally returned to the cave to find gold, but they couldn't find it anywhere. Probably forgot where they put it. So if you see anything golden and shiny in this cave, please remember, I know the way out. You have to share. Ooh, maybe it's in here. Alright, now over here we got all the stuff used by Frank on his first tour. Got that rope and candle he'll give you, some corned beef.
Feudal coffee.
Yeah.
And this is Frank's carbide lantern. It's basically a blow torch that you attract to your face. What could possibly go wrong? Fortunately, we don't use those anymore. Finally, over here, we got all the stuff used by the Civilian Conservation Corps. Got a wheelbarrow, some of the pickaxe, some drill bits, and a hammer. The wheelbarrow looks pretty normal, but there's too many rubber on the wheels. Rubber was super expensive during the Great Depression because they had to import it from other countries. So instead, they just made the wheel out of solid cast iron. You weren't getting any flat tires, but the wheel by itself weighs 60 pounds. When the wheelbarrow was full, it could be over 300 pounds. You might be pretty tough to work in the CCC, only 300 pounds of rock at a time, being paid $1 a day, and being fed
No,
Yeah.
be a random hole. The fishtail.
Anybody got any questions so far? It doesn't even have to be about the cave. It can be about life, the universe, everything.
What is the meaning of life?
What?
Meaning of life.
42.
Correct.
15 minutes.
Okay. Is everybody caught up yet?
Yes.
Okay. Whoever is the last person in line, raise your hand. All right. What is your name?
Alex.
All right, Alex, you're about to have some responsibility. We are going down the domino staircase, which means if you fall down, it is going to be a rough time for everyone else, especially me because I'm all the way in front. So, everybody, please use the handrail. If we all make it to the bottom alive, we give Alex a big round of applause. No pressure, Alex. Okay, down we go.
Way to go, Alex.
Where's the pizza?
We believe in you.
Oh, up the stairs. Guess we don't go up the stairs. We go down the spiral stairs.
In Soviet Russia, the stairs go up you.
Ooh, go up my ass. Your stairs go up your ass in Russia. And 3 people are using them. More birds. All right. Cool.
Yeah.
10, 11, 12. We're halfway there, guys.
Halfway
13,
there,
14.
living on a prayer.
15, 16, 17, 18, 19. So close, guys. Come on, squeeze on in, pretend like you like each other.
Did you guys
20.
have a sign like this many days since we lost somebody?
Well, we've never lost somebody that we know of.
They never said anything, huh? Where's Alex?
23, there you are. Okay, great job, Alex. All right. Welcome to Frank's living room. Remember how I told you he'd been living in a tent for 10 years?
Yeah.
Well, fortunately, he had this lovely 71-degree cave right outside his front door, so of course he used it. He and his family would hang out down here for up to 6 days at a time. Back behind you folks, there is a 30-foot hole in the ceiling with some railings up at the top. That is Frank's shortcut. He used to bring his tour guests over there. They would rappel down with all their equipment and set up base camp in here. The guy who owned the cave afterwards, Joe, would actually invite his friends in here to play poker, have parties, all sorts of shenanigans. In a way, this is the original man cave. Alright, now if some of you look down, you can see the only original part of the cave floor you get to stand on today. This stuff is called cave ice. It's formed when there's a pool of water in a cave like this. Dust from the calcite crystals falls on top of it and forms a crust. Then the water evaporates, leaving nothing underneath. In some places, it can be a little bit dangerous. That crust can be a couple millimeters or a couple inches thick. The drop underneath could be a few inches or a few dozen feet. There are drops of up to 40 feet recorded in this very cave. Don't worry, now under this part, we did check. Since it's made of pure calcite crystal like the rest of our formations, and it's nice and flat, I can do this. All right. What is your name?
Colby.
All right. Is that with a C or a K?
K.
All right. K for Colby. I think I'm good at spelling, but I'm really not, so I gotta check. What is... Oh wait, we've only got one kid in here today. Okay, I'm gonna write an A for Alex for getting us down the stairs safely. Thank you very much, Alex. And a little heart because you guys are all amazing. Okay, now real quick, does anybody in here play a musical instrument? What do you play?
Violin.
Cool, I tried it once, wasn't very good at it, but it was fun. That's what really matters. Anybody else? No? Okay, well, I play the drums, specifically one drum, the cave bass. I showed you all those cave bells earlier. They're nice and high-pitched because they're made of pure calcite crystal, like this one right here. But the cave bass is pure limestone, which almost never makes any sounds. That's why this one is so unique, and also my favorite one in this entire cave.
Oh, cool.
I have to be really careful when I do that. I have almost broken my hand on it multiple times, but the sound's always worth it. Alright, we're about to go down that little staircase right there. It looks small and unimportant, but once you reach the bottom, you're going to be 72 feet underground. This is the deepest you're going to be in the cave today, so do a little victory dance once you hit the bottom. You could say that we have just hit rock bottom.
Kind of hollow there.
This here is the cathedral.
It was hollow
We call
there.
that because we have some pretty awesome acoustics in here, like inside of a cathedral. So if anybody wants to spontaneously break out into song, now is your Disney princess moment. Literally anything but let it go. Okay, in keeping with the theme, we've got the four praying nuns here. Some of them look like nuns, some of them honestly look kind of like potatoes. And then up here we've got the cave gargoyle. Here's his head, his wing, and his little gargoyle feet. But once again, the real reason we're stopping is so that I can warn you about a big cave friend of mine. This guy's name is Bone Crusher. He has broken 3 people's noses before. 2 of them were tour guides. If we can do it, so can you. Please watch out as you walk by. Do not be number 4. Now, in just a minute, we are going to go up a very tall and steep staircase. Up at the top, there's an old construction shaft. I'll tell you more about it in a few minutes, but if you want to take pictures of it, take them as soon as you see it. You will not get another opportunity. About halfway up the staircase is a very large boulder overhanging the railing on the right. I have hit my head on that thing so many times. It's not fun. Don't be like me. Please be careful, guys. All right, here we go. Don't forget to watch out for Bone Crusher, as well as his big brother on the right here, Shoulder Smasher. And his little baby cousin on the left, Coacher.
What's that outcropping there? Uh-huh. I can see where that could be a problem. Ouch!
Listerine is also a good guess because they gargle it. But usually people say Gatorade because they will start with G. A lot of people guess blood too. I want to know what experiences you've had to think that gargoyles drink blood. That's scary. No, thank you. Okay. 2 more people on their way up. And I'm pretty sure there's just 2 more. Almost there, guys. Okay, there's Alice. All right. So, that old construction shaft over there, that was built by the CCC to bring down tools and materials for all of these walkways and railings. It was built in the 30s, made out of real wood. So right now, it is really full of termites. So, probably not a good idea to climb on it. You can see the top of it when you leave the cave today. As you exit the parking lot, if you look to your left, you'll see what looks like a random roof sitting out in the desert. That's the top of this construction shaft. So if you think about it, that means we are underneath the parking lot right now. If anybody wants to try to unlock their car from here, it's never worked before, but maybe you'll set a record today. Alright, in just a minute we're going to reach another staircase, this one going down. We call it El Diablo's staircase because we're pretty sure he's the guy who built it. It sucks. The best way to go down is to sidestep and use the handrail. I'll demonstrate once we get there, but it's in a really small room, so nobody's going to be able to see or hear me. So just keep an ear out for the cave bell. That's how you know you're about to start going down. Okay, here we go. Up here, we've got the silent waterfall. Each ripple took hundreds of years to form. Fortunately, it's one of the most vandalized areas of the cave, so it still looks pretty neat. What's right up here?
Definitely making use of those thigh muscles today, huh?
Oh, yeah.
Good thing I did some squats this morning. Of course, I do squats every day, so that's why I never.
Kind of disappointed I haven't seen any bats. Stupid bats migrating.
Sounds like a suggestion.
Please do not put broccoli in our cave, guys. I mean, normally I wouldn't have to say stuff like that, but somebody dragged a car door into our cave, hid it in here, and it's been 50 years since then that when we discovered it, so we're legally not allowed to remove it, even though it's literally just trash. Yeah. Okay, looks like everybody's down. Real quick, this is our last stop on the tour today. Can you guys believe we've been down here for almost an hour? What? Time flies when you're in a cave. Alright, so I'm going to give everybody one last go at guessing what's down at the bottom of this deep dark hole in the ground.
The
Frank's
bottom.
living room. We were just down there, guys. You see that little staircase there? We are standing on top of Frank's shortcut. He used to bring his tour guests down that hallway. They would tie a rope around this stalagmite, set down a burning candle on this one, totally not a fire hazard, and rappel all the way down to the bottom. That was just his tour guests. His kids, on the other hand, were usually expected to free climb. No rope for them. Dad of the year, huh? From what I've heard, it's actually pretty easy to get down there. I've never tried it, but life goals. All right.
Today's the day, right?
Now, if you look at this big formation with the UV light, you can see a bunch of bright blue splotches everywhere. That's the wax from the candles Frank used to set down on here. This brown stuff all over, that is bat poop. That's why I don't let you guys touch the walls in here. I know some of you were, you know who you are too, so please get some hand sanitizer when you leave. Then this blue dust everywhere, that is all over this cave. It's human dust. It's basically populent. We all have it on us. All right, I'm gonna show you a couple of nice cave bells real quick. Got a good one right here, and right over there. But the very best one is that one right there. Can someone get that for me? I can't reach it.
This
You
one?
gonna do it? Okay. Oh man, I think my spatula ran out of battery.
Oh, I hate when that happens.
Alright, I'm messing with you.
I hate when that happens.
I promise I do that to all my tours. So there's two reasons I do that. One, it's fun. Two, I like showing you guys through trial and error how you can tell which ones are gonna make the sounds. These two stalactites are surrounded by other formations, which means that their bases are pure calcite crystal. This one, on the other hand, has a bunch of limestone all around it, which completely deadens any sound it tries to make. Now, on our way out, there will be one more cave bell. I'll pass back the spatula so everybody gets to try. I promise that one's real. Now, before we go, does anybody have any questions, comments, tips, concerns, conspiracy theories, better jokes for me to tell, or anything of that nature?
9/11 was an inside job.
Okay, not bringing that subject up for debate. Anybody else?
If you put your dog and the cat in the trunk for a few hours and you open up the trunk, what happens? The dog's happy to see you and the cat's ready to kill you.
Yep.
It's just the way they are.
Okay, so if you guys like this cave and you want to support us, please leave a review or a social media post somewhere. Colossal Cave is really low priority compared to the rest in Arizona, especially the ones in the Grand Canyon. They get way more attention than we do. So any publicity we can get, we would greatly appreciate. If you love this tour and you're going to write a super positive review, please remember, my name is Julia. But if you think that my tour stinks, or if I tricked you into hitting the wrong cave bell, I lied. I'm actually Sarah. Let's get out of here. All right, up we go.
Up we go into the wild blue yonder.
I never really trusted Sarah.
No one's walking behind you. What?
Yeah.
Why? I don't know what you're talking about.
That's right.
Maybe you're not swiveling. Swivel there. You got a giant scorpion thing so they can reach you. Sounds like the inside of Colby's head. racing.
Where's the stairs in there?
They got a bunch of limestone from a quarry nearby and use those to make the stairs.